Hello, this is a study guide for exam of chapter 7, our first exam, and we're going to talk a little bit about the sections for this exam, and hopefully this guide will be useful for future exams too, because they will always follow a similar pattern. So, in order to take this exam, please remember you have to install Proctorio and you need to record it or you will not be able to have it graded. And you also need to know how to put accent marks and other characters from the Spanish alphabet. So the first section will be vocabulary. The first exercise will be based on vocabulary, and these are the pages where you should go in the book to review the vocabulary section. If you go to the book, at the beginning of the book, the first thing you're going to be introduced to is contextos, the vocabulary. So you have a bunch of words and then you have some pictures to kind of put those words in context. And in this chapter, we're talking about la rutina diaria. So words that are used to talk about your daily routine, among other things, reflexive verbs. The exercise in this section will probably be either a picture with blanks for you to write. For example, this could be like this, but with these little blank without words, so you would have to fill it with se peina. Or it could be something like this section, seleccionar, lavabo, toalla, despertador, or jabón, which is the one that doesn't fit. In this case, it would be despertador. The exam will have exercises that are pretty similar or even the same to the exercises you have completed in the supersite. So if you're getting 100% in the supersite, you should be okay to do this exam. The second, let's go back to here. The second section of the exam will be an audio exercise. In the audio exercise, you will find a file. If you see two files in the screen, please click on the lower one and you can listen to it as many times as you need it. And then you will have to answer some questions. It will probably be a multiple choice question because I want you to focus on listening, not on writing. And to prepare for it, there's several sections in the book that actually have files. For example, in the contextos files, you have, in the contextos section, you have two exercises that are listening activities. Then there's also a section in the book called escuchar, right here, on page 255, in which you have an audio and then you have to complete an exercise like this one. I will review this one in particular. This is about an artist, I believe, and it talks about his life and all that. So you have to do this in the superset, but I would use it to review before the exam. After the audio, you'll have several exercises based on grammar. And these are all the pages where you can study the grammar. So the grammar for chapter 7 starts with reflexive verbs. These are verbs that have a pronoun and a verb, and you need to conjugate both in order to make sense. In English, it's equivalent to myself, yourself, himself, herself. Okay? So review the conjugations, review the uses in here, and of course, review, these are verbs that are commonly used as reflexive, and go ahead and check the exercises. You will probably have a little paragraph with blanks and verbs at the top in which you need to choose the right verb, so you need to understand the context, and then conjugate it in the right form. So this could be a very easy exercise if you have studied conjugations, or it could be a nightmare if you haven't put any time on it. But I hope everybody gets it under control pretty soon. Indefinite and negative words, they may be based on this, but I'm not sure about it. did I miss one? Oh, predator of ser and ir for sure will be in the exam. The predator is the past tense. And remember, it's a past tense used for a specific point of time in the past. Ser and ir are kind of a pain because they both conjugate in the same way. They look the same in the preterite. So the only way we have to know which one is which is through context. So I will give you an exercise of a little paragraph or sentences in which you will have to conjugate ser or ir. You need to know which one is which and know the conjugations in the past. You could review all the exercises. I particularly like this one, for example, number 1, completar. This is a really good one, so use this as a model to prepare. Verbs like gustar, this is another important point that will be in the exam because gustar is a kind of a tricky verb. It works as to please in English, although it means to like. And so you need to know the structure. The structure is you first indicate who is pleased with the indirect object pronoun. Then you'll have the verb, and the verb will be matching whatever pleases. And so it will be conjugated in terms of who the subject is. So me gusta ese champú. In English, you would translate as I like that shampoo, but the grammar would be equivalent to that shampoo pleases me. So that's something to keep in mind. These are verbs that work like gustar, and this is more on the structure and more on gustar. And then you have exercises that work on that. This one, completar number 1, is one of the ones that I use as a model for the exam. So make sure you test yourself with this type of exercise. This is a good one too. What else do we have? What other grammar? This is a revision of grammar. Finally, let's go back to the study guide. Finally, we'll have some open questions based on the videos and texts. And these are the pages you have to review to answer this question. So these questions will be based on the comprehension exercises you do after each video or each text, to not surprise you with crazy little things that are in one corner of the book. It will be things you have done already. You're required to write complete answers and in Spanish, but I will not be picky about your grammar or your spelling. As long as it makes sense and I understand that you have read it and comprehended the text or the video, you will get full points. The videos and texts in this chapter, let's see, where does fotonovela, I believe, is the first one. So why doesn't it go to fotonovela? Here it is. So you first watch the video with this click here with this icon, the S, and then you have also some text that is kind of a summary of what is going on in this video. This is Marisa, an American student who's in Mexico with a Mexican family, and these are her friends. They're two, a brother and a sister. And then you have some questions about the video, and you have to complete it. So the questions I give you in the exam will be similar to these questions. There are other, so fotonovela, cultura. There's another one here. This cultura text talks about the siesta, and see how there are some questions underneath that are based on the text. Por ejemplo, ¿cierto o falso? True or false? La costumbre de la siesta empezó en Asia. Well, that's false because it says in here, la siesta es popular en los países hispanos y viene de una antigua costumbre del área del Mediterráneo. So it's wrong. It didn't start in Asia, but in the Mediterranean countries. I could do something like, where did the siesta start, for example? So you would answer, and I would do it in Spanish, of course. This is the second section of cultura, the second part, And it talks, for example, about el mate. Remember, mate is a tea, kind of a tea that people drink in the south of America, in Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay. And there's some more comprehension questions in here. What other texts do we have here? Cultura, gramática, lectura. En la lectura tenemos un email. This is an email by Guillermo Zamora, and he talks about how the poor guy slept over an exam. He went 24 hours after, and there was no one in the class. And these are some of the questions that you should work on to prepare for the test. And finally, we have, well, not finally, it's not the end, but almost there. En pantalla is usually a commercial, authentic materials. That's one of the good things about this book, which is they bring authentic materials. But sometimes these videos that are made for native speakers can be challenging for you. So my recommendation is that you put the subtitles when you watch the video and watch it several times. The first one will be like crazy, not understandable. But little by little, the second time you watch it, the third, it will start to make sense. Look at the images, and that will help you a lot to understand. And then, of course, this is the exercise you should use to prepare for the exam. Flash Cultura usually talks about a cultural event in one of the Spanish-speaking cultures. And so it's a video. Where's the S? Here's the S. You watch the video there. You can put subtitles in Spanish. And then you work on the questions, which are here. And now for real, finally, panorama. Panorama is about a country. This one is about Peru, and there are questions about Peru, and they're also, no, where are the questions? Here they are. These are the questions you need to work on for the exam. The exam will have to be manually graded. Canvas will give you a grade, but don't think that that's going to be your final grade. I first need to review the whole thing. I need to, for example, enter the points for the preguntas section. And once I have it done, I will place the grade and I'll let you know. If you think you need help to prepare for it, make sure you email me, or you can also access tutoring service through Canvas. So you should be able, when you enter your Canvas page, you should have a kind of like a class icon that takes you to tutoring service. So that's one of your rights. Use it if you need it. And that's it. I wish you good luck. Os deseo buena suerte y nos vemos en el examen. Adiós y gracias.